Ladies and gentlemen, recently one of the most interesting questions I've been getting is how or why should you prepare for the Rift update, which is coming relatively soon. There's actually fairly concrete answers to this question if you know where to find them. My name is Derailious and let's launch right into it. Starting off, the largest misconception that I've seen is that there's nothing you can go for before the Rift update drops. This is categorically false. Not only are there crafting recipes for top-tier Rift items that require items acquired outside of the Rift, but Rift transferable items which may have selling value on the outside of the Rift need crafting materials as well. That is why it is very important to get some of the following items, not only because it will ease your playthrough of the Rift, but it will allow you to progress through at a faster rate, and therefore give you access to, for example, higher tiers of Vampire Slayer before others, allowing you to progress through the content much quicker. To begin in terms of items, a very common but relatively weak one to start with are transmission tuners. 2 of these will allow you to upgrade the aspect of the leech's ability from 3 blocks to 4 blocks. This is a pretty basic one, however, so let's move on. Next up, there's the weird Tuba upgrade within the Rift, thus dubbing it the Weirder Tuba. This upgrade gives bonus effects of crit damage and bonus attack speed, as well as increasing the strength stat by 10 points. Also note that the effect duration increases from 20 seconds to 30 seconds, and the mana cost drops by 13, making this a pretty major upgrade for a relatively low cost. Inside the Rift, the Tuba goes from applying 10 speed and 1 rift damage for 20 seconds, to 30 speed and 3 rift damage for 30 seconds, with the mana cost unchanged. This actual recipe, in this case, requires 16 living metal hearts, which will be in the Rift and are easy to obtain, and a blood badge, which likely will require a small amount of grinding. Overall, a massive improvement outside the Rift for a pretty decent low cost. Next on our list, we have the Leggings of the Coven, which can be applied alongside a blood badge, femur growth leggings, and 24 living metal hearts to create the Leggings of the Coven. This armor piece grants 80 seconds of rift time, 1 extra heart which is useful for Vampire Slayer, and 6% mana regen. As well, it has the ability Friendship is Power, granting the user +1 rift damage and 2 mana regen for each other wearer within 64 blocks, up to a maximum of 3 players, and doubling the stats if the leather armor pieces are the same color as the other users. This ability is incredibly strong within the Rift, potentially allowing you to gain 6 rift damage and 12 mana regen. I highly recommend picking up the Leggings of the Pack now, as these will be highly sought after following the release of the Rift update. Scarf Studies can also be used in the Rift to create the final Scarf upgrade. This can be used alongside 2 blood badges and the previous anti-bite scarf to create an upgraded form, with 110 seconds of rift time, an extra heart, and 22 intelligence. Also note that this upgrade improves the ability, allowing you to take 0.5 less heart damage for every, piece of damage you take. Consider that if you took 2 heart damage before, this would likely mean you took 1.5, a very useful upgrade. In my opinion, I think you should definitely pick one of these up. Next, we have a few items all involved in one recipe. A Voidling Minion Tier 2, a Voodoo Doll, 16 Enchanted Gas Tears, 3 Enchanted Pufferfish, and a Zombie Heart. This really strange assortment of items, when combined with 48 Wilted Berberis Bunches, creates the Jinxed Voodoo Doll. This upgrade has the effect of lowering the base damage from 3000 a second to 2400 per second, increasing the duration of the effect to 12 seconds, lowering the mana cost from 200 to 180, and lowering the cooldown from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. If you want to get your hands on this Jinxed Voodoo Doll, definitely get these items together prior to the Rift's release. In my opinion, the overall lowering of the damage isn't really that big of a deal if it increases the effect's duration. Definitely makes it a more niche item. Moving on to our next few items, these are pretty strange. Consider grabbing a Lucky Clover, 384 Enchanted Spider Eyes, Reinforced Scales, and 384 Enchanted Raw Fish, as well as 48 Silver Magma Fish for a brand new Talisman and Griffin Pet upgrade. The Griffin Pet upgrade might be pretty solid, although I don't know the specific stats. Maybe I can flash them on screen right now if I get my hands on them. And the new Talisman just gives you fishing speed. That's really it. As well, Maddox's Bat Phone has an upgrade, however most people already have one of these. 576 Enchanted Bones and 576 Enchanted Redstone are needed for the Full Jaw Fanging Kit, which can be applied to iron swords. It's a pretty powerful buff, so I'd definitely consider it if you're using items like the Giant Sword. Finally, make sure you get your hands on the Batperson helmet for the Vampire minion. In my opinion, it's relatively smart to have at least one of these prior to launch, however most people already do. However, if it's part of your set, you might consider just, getting another one. Picking up everything isn't a necessity, of course, but it's very good to be prepared in this regard, and there are so many items that are kinda needed in various regards, and some of these items aren't really seen on the bazaar or auction house too often. So definitely consider getting your hands on this stuff now, because the more niche an item is, the less it appears in the economy, and therefore it has the largest ability to be changed by price changes. For example, if an item is relatively rare and only 100 of them are sought after any given day, if demand spikes up to 1,000 per day, well, you're going to see the price rise quite a bit. Overall, many of these items are fairly important for your time in the Rift, and getting them puts you pretty much ahead of the entire curve. If you want to support the channel, make sure you share this video around, it really would mean a lot. At the end of the day though, my name is Derailious, thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and look to the future fellas, because I'll see you then.